Good morning, my brothers and sisters. I am very grateful that you have subscribed to this webinar to learn about online fundraising. I have been in constant conversation with many of you all during these difficult times, and many of you all have shared with me your challenges. And one of it is that donations has dropped. In fact, some of y'all have shared with me that donations has dropped as much as 50%. But I also like to share with you that in these difficult times, while fiscal donation has dropped, I also noted that online donations has increased. Well, many of these are because of the measures that were put in place. Measures such as social distancing, measures such as the closing down of non-essential services, measures such as people staying at home. But I want to assure you all these measures are for the benefits of Singapore and Singaporeans and residents. Question is there a way we can overcome these difficulties? Another thing that I'd like to show to you is that if you look at the statistics for the last few years, in particularly for the last 3 years, the statistics on online fundraising is exactly what is happening now. It has in fact increased by 3-fold compared with your offline fundraising. The point that I want to make to you is this, is that the shift from offline fundraising to online fundraising is not only because of COVID-19, but is also a trend all over the world. As Singapore moves towards to be a smart nation, we in the charity sectors cannot be left behind. If we continue to raise funds using a can or using a gong, walking around and ask people for donations, one day you'll be surprised that not Singaporeans don't want to give, but you don't know how to receive because they are not going to give you donation in fiscal dollars, but they're going to give you through QR code using technology like Pay Now, Pay Where, Pay Everywhere. And if you are not ready to receive this type of donations, then I think we have a problem. I like particularly what our Prime Minister has said, and that is that while we are implementing measures to deal with COVID-19, many of these things that we are doing now actually enable us to be stronger. And that's the reason why I'm encouraged our charities to consider to move into online fundraising, because this is one capabilities that will make us stronger even after the COVID-19. So how do we do online fundraising? I spend a lot of my time doing research. And part of the research, I have captured the secret recipe or the secret formula of fundraising into one word. And this word is known as parents. P-A-R-E-N-T, parents. I like the word parents because parents' love for the children is unconditional. By the same token, charity care for the beneficiaries is also unconditional. Let me now first start on the first alphabet, and that is P. P stands for purpose. My brothers and sisters, I have gone through many of your fundraising, and many of the fundraising I've learned that there is a common mistakes that we all make. What is the common mistakes? The common mistake is that we like to talk a lot of the what, a lot of activities, a lot of the how. We do this, we do this, we do that. But at the end of the day, we fail to talk about the why. In fact, talking about the why is the one that connects your fundraising to the heart of the donors. I give you a good example. SPD. If you look at SPD fundraising, they will give you activities. They will give you the what. They will give you the how. But all this is connected to the why. And what is the why? The why of SPD is not only about helping the disabled, but more importantly, it's about empowering the disabled. It's about maximizing the potential of our disabled. And by doing so, it shifted the why from one of just giving and helping to one of dignity. The best form of help is to empower people so that they can help themselves. Better still, after that, help others. The next alphabet is A. A stands for alignment. Again, I look at many of your fundraising activities. And many of your fundraising activities, you have a lot. You have a lot of activities. So much that the donor get confused, what are you doing? Example is when you go and eat a buffet. Please do it after COVID-19. You eat a buffet. And what is the feel of eating a buffet? Most of the time, the general feeling is that you have a bloated stomach. That's it. So if you have a lot of activities, but people do not connect the activity to the purpose or do not align it to the purpose, you have a problem. So that's why it's very important for you in your online fundraising to make sure that your activities have a line of sight to the purpose. And only when you have the line of sight, you will be able to ensure that all these activities are synergized to achieve the effect of 1 + 1 = 100. My brothers and sisters, a good example of a fundraising that have a good line of sight, and that is SATA ComHealth. You look at their online fundraising campaign, you'll find that they will talk about doctor on wheels, they talk about their clinics, they talk about their home care, but all these are aligned to the purpose, and the purpose is that no senior citizens shall be deprived of primary care just because they cannot afford it. See, when you align your activity to the purpose, it makes your activity meaningful and purposeful. Because if your online fundraising, if you articulate on the why and you articulate it well, effectively you are overcoming one very important, what I call obstacles to online fundraising. And that is you are able to overcome the emotional presence compared with the offline fundraising. When you emphasize on the word why, you are talking to the heart, not to the head. And only when you talk to the heart, your online fundraising will be emotive and people will give and give a lot. Let me now move on to the next alphabet. The next alphabet of the parent framework is R. R stands for results. My brothers and sisters, I have again looked at some of your online fundraising. I must say that majority of you all have results on your online fundraising. Some of you all, the result is talking about the number of activities that you have organized to help the beneficiary. And I call this the output results. Some of you all have gone one step by saying that how many beneficiaries benefited from your fundraising. And I call this the outcome result. But I seldom see, I tell the truth, I seldom see, very few, only a selected few, that talk about impact. So what is impact? Impact is about how this donation make a difference to the beneficiaries. Good example is the Singapore Children's Society. The Singapore Children's Society in the website make it very clear. If you donate $5, they will enable children who need help to have a school bag so that the children can bring the relevant book to school so that they can study well. If you donate $30, they will ensure that needy children will have a healthy meals for 1 week. My brothers and sisters, this impact is very clear. In fact, it's very visual, it's very practical. It's what I call impact with 2 feet on the ground. So when we write results in our online fundraising, make sure you shift from output to outcome to impact, and make sure that your impact is practical and real. The next alphabet of the parent framework is E. E stands for evidence. My brothers and sisters, you know what is my background. Many of you all know that my previous life, not too long ago, I was a policeman. In fact, I'm not only a policeman, I was heading what I would call the ACE investigations departments in the police force. And that is the Criminal Investigation Department. And in that department, my philosophy is very clear. I will only charge the accused in court if I have publicly defensible evidence. Evidence is important because when you talk about all the results that you have, but that results is only what you say. But if you got evidence to prove that in fact you have achieved the results, the story is different. I always say, if I say I'm good, I'm good. If you say I'm good, I'm better. But if everybody else say I'm good, I'm the best. So my brother and sister, evidence is important. Therefore, the evidence in fundraising create trust. And to create trust, I want you to listen to this tagline very carefully. Do right thing. Do thing right. Nothing to hide. Do right thing. Do thing right. Nothing to hide. I know it rhymes. Indeed, it's supposed to be rhymes. Because do right thing, ensure that whatever thing we do, we are responsible. Do thing right, ensure that whatever thing we do, we are accountable. Nothing to hide means that whatever thing we do, we make sure that there is transparency. It's about accountability, transparency, and responsibility. And if you have this as captured as part of your online fundraising, it creates a lot of trust that indeed your online fundraising is trustworthy of my donation. Give you an example. The Children Wishing Well recently launched a COVID-19 donation. The donation is for people to raise funds to buy laptops and broadband. And you know that in this very difficult period, many of our children are required to study at home. Not all have these facilities, but the charity raise funds to enable them to have these capabilities. But not only they raise funds, they ensure that when they raise funds, there is full accountability. People know who the money are for, where the money are for, how the money are flow to the beneficiary, and that there is full disclosure. That is what I call a trustworthy fundraising campaign. So, my brothers and sisters, it's very important that when we do fundraising, we must make sure that we have public defensible evidence. I give you an example. You all know that as part of your fundraising, I have a regulations. And the regulation is that you must not spend more than 30% of your fundraise, of your donation to pay for your fundraising expenses. If you follow the law or follow the regulations, you will spend up to 30%. But is this correct? No. If you can spend 10%, why must you spend 30%? Because for every dollar saved, it's every dollar for the beneficiaries. In fact, my brothers and sisters, if you go online, if you go by online fundraising, effectively, you can push your fundraising productivity to the extent that your cost of fundraising is almost zero. What you raise all go to the beneficiaries. I now move on to the next alphabet. The next alphabet of the parent framework is N. N stands for navigate. Navigate means move around. My brothers and sisters, my heart pain when I find an online fundraising appeal that is very good, that have a lot of the why, that captured my imaginations, that got very good result, that align the activities to the result, very good. But then guess what? When I want to donate, I can't find the donate button. Yes, you know, I have a couple of these fundraising, online fundraising. By the way, I send them a comment. Why you make it so difficult for people to donate when you already have an excellent narrative? First point. Second point is, you know, after having an excellent narrative and you want people to donate, can you make it convenient for people to donate or not? Sometimes, again, I saw one online fundraising. You say that I want to donate, but you must donate by that particular credit card. Why are you so fixated with that particular credit card? Is it because of loyalty points? No, you must think on behalf of the donor. Make it convenient for the donor to donate. Therefore, you must give them options, all sorts of credit cards. And better still, give them the latest options on what? On Pay Now, Pay Anywhere. So, my brothers and sisters, donation, you must, under the end, you must make it easy for people to donate and convenient to donate. A good example is Club Rainbow Singapore. You go to Club Rainbow Singapore in their website when they ask for donation. Do you know where is the red big button for donation? It's in their first page. You cannot miss it. First page. And they give you the whole range of options to do. So that is the letter N. Finally, the letter T. T stands for thanks. Many of you thanks the donor when the donor donate money to you. At the beginning, I suspect some of the thank is what? Computer generated, which means to say that the moment you give the money, the computer automatically generates and say thank you. This is good, but not the best. The best must be not only you thank when the person give you or donate money, but better when you thank when what? After you finish the events. And better still, when you thank, you don't just say thank you. You thank by closing the loop. Thank by closing the loop. Closing the loop means what? Closing the loop means that you thank, but you also tell the donor how their donation make a difference. But not in present tense and future tense, but in past tense, because the event is over. By doing so, you have shifted from a very transactional relationship to a very relational relationship. And that is the power. An example is Tai Hwa Kwan. When Tai Hwa Kwan raise funds, the first thing they do is they will thank the donor. But at the end of the activities, they will then send another letter to the donor, telling the donor how their money has benefited the beneficiaries. That is something that we must do. Because at the end of the day, when you want to thank the donor, you thank the donor by telling him the impact after the event. Effectively, what you have done is this. You have created a relationship with the donor such that the donor is now the owner of the charities. If you can make your donor the owner of the charities, even when you don't ask him or her for donation, she will ask you, why didn't you ask me for donation? That is the power of a relationship. My brothers and sisters, let me summarize what I've shared with you. This morning, I share with you a secret recipe, a secret formula to ensure successful online fundraising. And I coded and captured it into a word, parents. P stands for purpose. When you want to do online fundraising, make sure you talk to the heart, and that's the why. A is alignment. Whatever activities you have stated in your online fundraising, make sure that you align it or line of sight with the purpose. R is results. Result is not only about output, outcome, but result, more importantly, should also be about impact. E is evidence. Evidence that you do right thing, do thing right, nothing to hide. N is navigation. Make sure your big red button for donation is easy to find, convenient for people to donate. And finally, please thank the donor when they give, and after the event, make sure you thank them by closing the loop. I have written articles for many of you who are interested to find out more about the parent framework. I've written an article for ISCA, for our Institute of Chartered Accountants, and I have also got their permissions to share the article with you. And to help you to download the articles, this is the QR code. Scan the QR code, and you will be able to have the articles. So, in conclusion, my brothers and sisters, in conclusion, we are having a difficult time. But is this difficult times, what we do in this difficult time will define who we are and what we stand for. If these difficult times, we only deal with the difficult times, I think that is one level. But if these difficult times, we ensure that what we do, ensure that we are even stronger after the difficult time, then it really defines the values of resilience that bring us where we are today. And that is the reason why we are going into this series of building capabilities in our charities. And online fundraising is one of these capabilities. That's the end of my lecture.
Thank you, Dr. Ang, for setting the stage with the parent framework for online fundraising.